My dad loved Christmas. Christmas was his favorite time of year. In fact, Dad would always decorate the Christmas trees. Yeah, you heard me. We had more than one Christmas tree. We didn't need more than one Christmas tree, but Dad wanted more than one Christmas tree. You see, Dad grew up in the Depression. He grew up on a sharecropper's farm in South Mississippi. And so there was a lot of Christmases where he and his family just had nothing for Christmas. But for Dad, that wasn't going to happen in his house. We had lots. We had lots of everything. We had lots of trees. We had lots of presents. We had lots of food. We had lots of Christmas. For my dad, Christmas was it. You had to be home for Christmas. He didn't care how far away you lived. He didn't care what was going on in your life. You had to be home for Christmas. And when you got there, you had to take a tour of the trees. He would walk around and tell you what he was thinking when he decorated this one and what was going through his mind when he decorated that one. And on the Christmas Eve night, he would sit there in his chair and watch his children and grandchildren destroy the packaging that held their presents. And no one had more fun than he did. For Christmas, for my family, it was all about Dad. And then Dad died. He died April. You would think we'd had enough time to get ready for Christmas. But when Christmas came almost 9 months later, we weren't ready. We weren't ready because there were a lot of things that Dad just did. Dad knew where the tree was. We didn't know where the tree was. Dad knew where all the decorations were. He was the one who packed them up and put them up. We didn't know where any of the decorations were. We didn't know what went where or how soon you put it out. We didn't know what we were going to do with Mom. Was Mom going to cook Christmas dinner again? Were we going to go out? It was a different Christmas this year without Dad, a different tradition. We should have been ready. We weren't. So what happens if you're facing the holidays without somebody you love? What happens when you had plans for one way of doing Christmas, and now you're going to have to think of another way? Well, first of all, don't be surprised when you're sad. No matter how long ago the death was of your loved one, the loss of your loved one was, there's still something about the holidays that's going to bring it back in a fresh and new way. There's going to be moments when you catch yourself staring too long out the window or looking too long at a blinking light on the Christmas tree and remembering some moment where you and your mom, you and your dad, you and your husband, you and your wife had some kind of moment, and now you are remembering it again and you weep. You see, grief is not something that you do once and you're over it. We want it to be like a stair step. You deal with it, move on, deal with it, and move on. It's not. Grief is more like a spiral in that you keep coming back to the same point, but in an ever deeper level. So maybe this is not the first Christmas you've had without your loved one. But now you're going to have to think through, okay, I made it through the first Christmas. I know what that means. Now what does it mean to have every Christmas without them? That's a different question. That's a different level. So one, you're going to expect to be sad. Don't let it catch you by surprise. Don't feel bad because you're sad. Your sadness tells you that you're missing something, and you are. You're missing a very important, special part of your life that in this life we won't get back. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to sit with someone and say, you know, I remember, and share the story. You know, one of the things that your loved one was afraid of is that you would forget them. Is that your life would become so busy there wouldn't be any time to think about them or talk about them. So you honor your loved one when you share these stories. And even if you're talking with the person who was hurt the most, a wife, a husband, they want to hear the stories. They want to hear how their life with their loved one mattered, about how important this person was, not only to them, but to the world. So don't be surprised when you're sad. Don't be surprised when you want to tell a story. Enjoy the story. Laugh. This is a great gift. So cherish it. But also know that now Christmas is different. And it's okay if you want to change some traditions. Somebody else needs to decorate the Christmas tree, and they may do it a little differently. And if they do, that's okay. You're doing Christmas differently now. If you want to eat at somebody else's house, this is a good time to do it. It's a time now to make new traditions for another group of children who will grow up thinking that this is the only way in the world you can celebrate Christmas. Be grateful. Grief is a sign that your love was deep. I can take you to home after home after home that would trade everything they have to have a story of love, to have a story of somebody that was that special that they caused sadness when they left. There are a lot of people that when they leave, there'll be a celebration, not sadness. So understand the gift that you have and relish it, cherish it. And then remember, this is the reason Jesus has come. Because life was broken, because life is filled with pain. And this is why this child is born. This is why he's here. To take all of that pain, to bear all of our grief, to take that to the cross and, yes, come through it with the resurrection, and now wait on us in a place where we'll celebrate. We'll celebrate Christmas, we'll celebrate Easter, and we'll do it all in the same moment. And we won't ever have to stop. Christmas is a beautiful time of year. So take time to remember and take time to understand that even in your grief, the hope of Jesus Christ is very real. A child is born, and this child is born for you in all of your joy and in all of your grief and in all of your hope. Merry Christmas.